What's up, amigos? You won't believe this. Bill Maher just stunned everyone. If Democrats go full socialist, he's voting Republican, like JD Vance or Marco Rubio. But there is a question. If even Bill's thinking to switch sides, could this be a sign of a bigger shift in the end of the year? Could this be a sign of a midterm election? And the question is, the Democrat really changing now, or they've changed a long time ago, but they were scared to say? Because what I've always watched was they pretending to say they were moderate, but they were always extremists, or at least since I can remember. So let us talk about this. I think it's important to see people from the left going away from extremism. So give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let us go straight to the point. Let us see what he's saying here.
Because this is big news in this country. I don't know if you saw what happened in New York. There were 3 candidates for this. These are the primaries. They are going to win the election, so there are going to be 3 Democrats in Congress. These are Mandami's people. These are Democratic socialists, I think very different than the Democratic Party. What happened is, for years we've been asking young people to vote. Well, now young people are voting, and they're voting to abolish the police, abolish prisons, unlimited immigration, so no cops, no prisons, no borders, proving for sure that eating Tide Pods does cause brain damage.
The thing is, it's not new. It's not new. The difference is now they have the courage to say so. Because the Democrats, they've always played the game like, Joe Biden is a moderate guy. Kamala Harris is extremist. So they've always bring someone, an extremist, to play that he's moderate. Like, for instance, they're going to bring these crazy people, socialists, to compare to Gavin Newsom. And they're going to call Gavin Newsom someone who's moderate. But he's not. He is extremist. So could that be a strategy to try to deceive the American people? Let's show this extreme, and then let's show Gavin Newsom as someone who's moderate. Because if they compare Gavin Newsom with these lunatics who's coming up right now, some people could say, oh, he's different. No, he's the same. He's the worst. But never know. Look at this. Let's go straight to the point. Look how crazy they are going. They want to take over the Democratic Party. Look.
I'm saying if people can't understand that the game has changed. I mean, this is you. You're the sports guy. If people can't understand that the game has fundamentally changed and they can't adapt, then they need to let others lead.
So she's talking, it changed. It changed. And then the idiot goes there and says some stupid things that I don't need to show to you. Let's go back to Bill Maher, because it's more interesting what he says here. Let's do it.
Like, if this is where the Democratic Party is going, where this democratic socialist, this obsession with Israel, with the Jew hating, they don't believe in capitalism, no prisons. If this is where they're going, my vote is in play.
Okay.
And
I like to hear that.
It actually always has been. Every year, I don't make my decision by who has an R or a D. I actually always came to the conclusion that the Democrat was probably better.
Sure.
And voted for them.
Okay.
And Trump can't run again, and he'd be a little too exciting for me anyway. So it's either going to be you or Rubio. Like, if this is where the Democratic Party is going, where this democratic socialist, this obsession.
So you stop that. It's either going to be you or Rubio. So is he endorsing JD Vance? I mean, that is a powerful thing, because, you see everyone clapping hands, everybody happy when he talk about those things. That's interesting. So it means people are actually understanding his point, which Democrats are just lunatics. The libtards, they are just growing the number of libtards, and that's is a fact. Look at this.
I'm just glad you're talking to me. I say it every time when the Republicans come here, they take their beating like a man. It's the people I vote for. They're the ones who won't talk to me. That's odd, isn't it?
It is very odd.
I mean, and I
Well,
promise.
like this new woman who was elected in New York, do you think she'll come on the show?
Oh, I know you want. No, I can't get AOC. I can't get Mandami. I couldn't get Kamala Harris. You know, it took me 8 years to get Obama. Anyway, let's not talk about my problems. And I promise this is going to be a lot easier than talking to the Iranians. Or even more, The View.
The question is whether it's harder than The View. That's right.
I'm just glad you're talking.
We gotta bring a point here, you know, and this is the point I'm trying to make you to think about it. Is Bill Maher, he's saying that they are going too crazy, and therefore he may vote for JD Vance or even Rubio or etc. But we need to remember that he voted for Kamala Harris. So what's the difference between these socialists right now and Kamala Harris? The difference is these people right now, they are coming out of the closet saying we are socialist, we are communist, we wanna, you know, ban police and do all this crazy thing. So it's a bunch of lunatics who have no understanding what they're saying. They've never read a book about you know, socialism or communism, or they've never went out of America to see how those places actually are. But Kamala Harris is exactly the same thing. Kamala Harris is exactly the same kind of person as the socialist. So is this a strategy trying to make some people in the Democratic Party so crazy that crazy people like Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom will be seen by people as moderate, as someone they would be able to vote so that these people would not take over? Because it could be just noise. That's my point. It could be just noise. Because to tell me that AOC is extremist, but Kamala Harris is someone that I will vote for because she's moderate, it makes no sense, because he voted for Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris is as evil and as bad as these socialists are. So it's something we need to think about it. It's something that we need to look at it and say, no, what's going on in these Democratic Party? Is this a strategy? They are really doing this because it could be the Democrats shooting is a shot in the foot, right? Because they become extremist, people go away from them, and then they lose. Could be. Or they are thinking about a strategy where they bring up these extremists, so people are going to look at Kamala Harris and JD Vance as moderate, and then they're going to be convinced to vote for these people. So we got to think about what are they planning to do. I believe is another question I brought to you last video. It's, do you think this is good or bad for America if we see the socialist takeover will make the American people go against, or the American people are so stupid that they're going to embrace? That's a question we got to make too. And I'm scared to find out what is going to really happen when, you know, the socialists take over. What's going to happen? I'm kind of scared. Let's see here.
Trump can't run again, and he'd be a little too exciting for me anyway. So it's either going to be you or Rubio. Here's my deal breaker for your side. Okay. Under Trump, you guys have two outcomes that an election can be. Either we win or they cheated.
This is an interesting point about the election. I wanna hear your thoughts about this.
That shit has to stop. And the person who... And that means the person who has to stop it would be you or Marco. Can you tell me you will do that? Will you bring us back to the middle, at least on that, where we concede elections, where it's not either one of those two options?
Okay, Bill. So
JD Vance, he's going to bring a point here about election, stolen election. You know, it's a very interesting point that many people are not talking about it.
This is where I'm probably going to lose you here, but here's
That happened about 8 minutes ago.
Look, I don't think that we should not concede elections, but I don't think that's what's going on. I think that if you go back to the president's core argument, he was making an argument about problems that existed in 2020. And here's the problem that I'm most focused on. The president and I've talked a lot about this, and I think we share a perspective here, but set to the side the stuff that really gets you and your audience very angry about whether the count was legitimate in Georgia or Pennsylvania or any of these other states. Is it true that large technology companies, some of whom have financial interests that exist outside the United States of America, were they censoring information in the run-up to an election? And set to the side the stuff, again, the Georgia stuff, but
that was litigated. Dominion, the Fox News paid us.
I'm trying to make the more middle ground argument here. The biggest criticism I had of the 2020 election is that you had technology companies that were quite literally censoring negative information about the left and promoting negative information about the right. So in a fundamental sense, like if the First Amendment says that we have a free and open debate and then the American people judge based on that free and open debate, the sense in which I think the election in 2020 was rigged, I'm sorry, is that you had technology companies that were putting their thumb on the scale in a way that completely obliterated the real open exchange of ideas.
Well,
now, by the way, it didn't happen in 2024, but it happened in 2020 and it was a problem.
Well, you're going to get.
See, that's the thing. What you may debate about the voting machines. I think it's a good debate. But what JD Vance is saying here, it's a fact. It's a fact. You cannot deny that. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, they all censored people from the right. They didn't allow these people to make videos. They lied about, Joe Biden's son's laptop, Hunter Biden laptop. So they all went 100% against Trump. So that is a fact. The media censored the people from the right. They blocked people from the right. And that's true. That's a fact. So if you forget about all the machines and everything else, and you only look at how the media, the internet, Facebook, YouTube, etc., did, you still gonna come to the conclusion, yes, they put their hand on the scale. It wasn't a fair election because they did this to favor Biden. By the way, Biden was half dead all the way on the back, and they still lied to us saying he was okay. So may God bless you. May God bless America. I believe we will win. The socialists didn't work anywhere in the world. American people will wake up and they will not accept it. Bye-bye. See you next time.